Why, hello everyone, and welcome to the stream. This is Otaku Showboat. Today is Sunday, November 5th, 2023. I am joined up top by Mr. Cat, by Mr. Ollie. He is here today. He's now happy and resting. Oh, it was a horrible day. Horrible, horrible morning for the kitties, because today is the day that the clocks turned back an hour. Oh, woe are the kitties who had to wait longer for their breakfast this morning. Oh boy, he was next to me. He sat next to me, and he sat and stared at me for over half an hour before he gave up. Speaking of which, I need to actually get the camera set up because I'm not prepared. I need the camera. The camera. On there. Okay, the camera's set, ready to go if we ever do get a kitty on the side today. We shall see. We shall see. Hello, Ollie. Maybe Dolly will show up too at some point. We shall see. So, what to talk about before we begin today, other than the fact that it's daylight? Well, it's the end of the daylight saving time. It's actually supposed to be singular for saving, not plural, but I don't think that anyone in existence actually uses the singular in regular parlance when referring to DSD. So, yeah, I woke up, it was 5:05 a.m. I then tried to sleep again. I woke up at 5:40 a.m. And I tried to stay in. I did my morning thing. I was on my phone reading news until I got to the end of the list of articles, and then got up at like 10:15 after 6, which is, you know, my usual time, just offset an hour. Thank you, Daylight Savings Time, for getting me up so early. Then the cats had to wait their extra hour too, so that they could eat at 8, which would have been 9. But we're back to standard time now, which is the time it should actually be always, because it is the more accurate time. The standard is the, like, accurate time. That why would we not want to be on accurate time? We need to be on accurate time, and this is accurate time on standard time, so we should always be on standard time. There shouldn't be a daylight saving time. We shouldn't be changing the clocks, and we should always be on standard. Anyway, that all being said, anything else to talk about? I don't really think so, per se. I mean, there's the 3D printing stuff, which I did get a new print surface for my printer, and it is working a lot better than the old one. A lot better than the old one, and I actually really like it. I actually really like it. It's really, really nice. My prints are coming out so much better now with this. And I am actually able to print larger items, making much fuller use of the actual printable area of my 3D printer, because I'm not having to worry as much at this point about the inconsistency in the bed itself, the level of the bed, because the new sheet that I got, it comes with not only the, like, metal magnetic sheet that you print on top of, it comes with a little bit of a extra layer on it. So when I took the old sheet off, I put the new piece, the new layer, on top of the old one. Now this does mean that the bed is now a little bit thicker, and it does mean that, yeah, there will be less heat making it to the actual print surface itself, because there's more material for the heat to have to go through on the bed, but it helps with flattening out the surface. It helps a little, just enough to help smooth out that surface. And that was actually pretty key. So I'm happier now than I was before with the printer and all that. Also took the time to clean up the area I have in there in the other office to yeah, I needed to clean because I've done a lot of printing, and there's a lot of excess material that gets left behind when you 3D print. There's a lot of extras that you need to deal with once you finish your printing. So that has been accumulating a lot, and I needed to get it all sorted and cleaned up. So I finally did that. I also brought into here my pile of empty filament boxes. I didn't even realize I have gotten so many spools of filament over time, but yeah, I had like this great big stack of empty filament boxes. I'm like, cool, I'm going to use these to store items that I have printed. Just extra inventory of items that I have on hand to ship out for when I make sales on eBay. Ideally, I would have preprints of everything and only ever keep as listed on eBay the items that I have in inventory, but right now that's basically print on demand for most of them, and I only keep a stock of the most popular stuff. So, all that being said, let's get into the game, because we have a lot to do. We have a lot to do in Factorio. So very much, because we are inching ever so closer. We are inching ever so closer to getting into Circuit 2s. In fact, if we don't get Circuit 2s today, we will absolutely get Circuit 2s in our next stream. That's how close we actually are. That being said, what do we need to do to get into Circuit 2s? What did we do last time? What are we doing today? What did I do between streams? Last time we got vanadium and made etching solution and got into some silicon. Didn't actually get into the wafers, but we did get into silicon. So I have that as a separate, as a factory that we did together. Here's silicon, the silicon part of it anyway. I doubled it between streams and got rid of what I had on the quartz stuff, because I just decided, hey, we may as well have these be separate for now. So we did that. We did the Ziffo for the vanadium. I have finished the Ziffo at this point. I did notice a mistake that I made today. I had this blocked by a power pole right in this tile, and the whole point of this line is to provide the grade 1 tin. So the whole thing died because this wasn't outputting grade 1 tin anymore. It got blocked. So the whole thing got blocked. Great. Fantabulous. What a great, fantastic thing. So, got that fixed. Got that fixed. The vanadium is somewhere up above, I think. I don't even remember. Here's the etching. We got the etching solution up here. It should be moving every time it gets vanadium. It needs the vanadium for anthraquinone to make hydrogen peroxide in here. Now, I will need to set up hydrogen peroxide on its own build, so my thought is either I can supply it here or I can have a separate factory. And I think right now I'm leaning towards supply it from here. I think I'm leaning towards supply it from here. Scale what's here and supply the peroxide from here. Okay, with that said, the goal for the day is to, at minimum, clear through the 3 doped silicons. In order to do that, we need to create and finish silicon wafers, which is this factory. We need to have the hydrogen peroxide available to us, which I was going to, as I just said, provide that at the place I already have it at etching. I will need an acetic acid build, providing acetic acid on the train network. So this is another factory. And I will need antimony pulp 2 and go through the process of making antimony pulp 2. I am undecided if I want to have a separate ethylene glycol factory for this, because this is actually a pretty big factory as it stands. I'm thinking that I should have ethylene glycol provided separately. I should do that. I'm going to actually do that now. How much of it is needed for this? 5, okay. Uh, 10, sure. It's gonna be too much silver, but whatever. We shall overcome. You, that. Chlorine. Dividing. Through that. You through that. Are those. And you are local. So is the saline, for that matter. So that's the ethylene glycol. I need to shift it quite a bit, because I've been making a few plans, as you can probably tell. I have at this point in Factory Planner split out every factory that I'm going to make through Circuit 2s and a little bit beyond. So we'll do that after acetic acid, and then we can get rid of that, and that, and that, and that. That's a few other things as well that is able to get rid of here. What? Saline. This one. This one. This one. Water. Sand. Did I break anything important? Just the limestone. There. So that becomes the antimony pulp. Now, I want to be clear. While I have this separate from heavy end doped silicon, the heavy end-doped silicon will be tacked on to the antimony pulp build. And in fact, I'm going to change it from 5 to 4. So really, it's heavy N plus this is one factory. So that'll be the most complex of the doped silicons. After that, the N-doped silicon, light N doped, will be just a simple one factory, 3 input stations, and the light P will be just these steps. Zinc acetate should be separate, but I only am using it here for a while. For a while? Oh, really? Interesting. Didn't you just make Nextlit batteries before, but now you're making spent Nextlit batteries and have to charge them? That's a little different, I think. But regardless. Yeah, we won't need the zinc acetate for a little bit outside of the light end, so I'll make it local, and it's a 2-item to 1 product thing, so it's simple enough, because I'll have both of the ingredients provided on the train network anyway. Once I get through those, we're going to move directly towards Circuit 2s by setting up Cermet, which is a fairly simple factory. The biggest issue is lube. Nice nickel silicon, so we will need to get this stuff into a factory. Again, it's a pretty simple factory. Silicon carbide is a very, very simple factory. Bakelite. This is also a pretty simple factory. I do need to break down this, though, and get that hydrogen chloride from somewhere. That's easy enough. Phenolic boards follow that, followed by PCB2s. And then I will need ferrite. I will need ferrochrome provided, which I don't have provided at this point in time, even though I am using it for something. I will need MOSFETs built and provided. All of this stuff is on the train network by the time I do this. Toroidal inductors. Again, I will have all of these things provided by the time I make these. Electrolytic capacitors, same deal. Transistors, same deal. The medium power resistors, same thing. Microchips, same thing. Diodes, same thing. And then circuit 2s. It's it all together. As I said, we're actually very close to circuit 2s at this moment in time. Most of the time being spent will be simply building train stations for everything in here. And all the actual individual factories will be very, 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 very simple, with the exception of the heavy end-doped silicon factory because of the antimony pulp 2. Let's get working, because we've got a lot to do today. I need silicon wafers. All right, heading on over. Now, what did I do between streams? Well, at one point, I don't remember if I did this time or going into last time. I don't remember. I did this recently. I did scale up my power by placing a whole bunch of tidal power plants, and right now, the tidal power plants actually power my entire base. So that's something. I also worked on glass and did some modifications here at my hot air. Basically what happened was that both of these died on me. Both of these stopped working. And so I was like, what the hell? They didn't have enough coke oven gas in this second step to constantly move, to keep moving. So I had to send in extra hotter coke oven gas into the second step until I had enough in the system to actually start have both of the tanks full. I also doubled the production of the coke oven gas, but that I don't know exactly if I really needed that. It just sped things up a little bit. And once I did that, then yes, now the hot air from all three is always moving. And this fundamentally solved the main issue I was having at glass, which was not that I wasn't making enough glass per se, it was that I didn't have enough hot air to make my belt of glass that I had placed and built. I doubled that to 2 yellow belts of glass production. So that is also now a thing, and it makes its quartz locally, more than enough quartz ore locally to make the glass. So that is here. This is the glass now. I just copied this guy and pasted it down here, which is a bit more than I need for this build, but it's fine. There's some more room to grow down here, I guess. But yeah, I'm now backed up on glass. And I have 3 trains moving on the glass, so yay. No more worrying about that. At least for now. This build does not need a fluid input. This build is unique in that I will have to loop hydrogen chloride, so I'll have to make hydrogen chloride. I will make hydrogen, the 125 hydrogen for this. And I'll need okay, I will have a solid fuel. Alright. Here we go. Yeah, as I've mentioned, if I get the extra hour today, we might actually come pretty close to having all of the factories at least placed. Maybe everything won't move to get the circuit 2s, but we might actually get all the factories placed for circuit 2s. Okay. Let's get this infrastructure done first, and then worry about all the other inputs and outputs for it. As I said, I will be voiding the hydrogen from this because, and the reason I'm doing this, I have done the full double closed loop thing before in my previous series. It is a royal pain in the ass. I don't like doing that because it has a lot of potential failure points associated with it, and I don't like building those systems. I'm done with it, so I'm going to avoid it, and I'm just going to make fresh hydrogen to provide to the step that needs hydrogen while voiding the hydrogen from here. It does not make sense to do that with the hydrogen chloride, so I will have a closed loop on the hydrogen chloride. It's just I don't want two closed loops that are interdependent upon each other in here. Cause yeah, it's failed on me multiple times in my previous playthrough, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to deal with that again. I need thingies. These. 125. I will need 7 of these thingies. Next. Needs outputs. All that needs to be voided. There's 13. All right. This has... Oh, it's no solid input. Really? Then I missed a solid input here. There we go. That's the silicon in. Silly, silly silicon. Yeah, silicon. Next on the line would be the coke. Alright. That is that. This needs outputs. I need 5 quartz ore. That's 5 quartz ore. Nice, just copy paste. Making use of my making use of PyBlock's available recipes. This would be a little bit more annoying with regular Pi. I say annoying, but it's more just I have to import it from the train network instead of getting it through here. I just have to make sure that I have enough of the mining of it, and I have enough trains moving it everywhere. Also, this playthrough, this one right here, where I made the decision to have 1-1 trains. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that ever again. Yeah, I'm not gonna do 1-1s ever again. It is a bit annoying. A little bit too annoying on the higher throughput stuff. Like all of the ores and anything stacked. It is not convenient. Not at all convenient with any stacked items. Especially things like the quartz. The trains cannot keep up with it with single length trains. Not at the beginning here anyway. It just does not work. Next step, I need to crush this quartz. And filter its stone. And void it. Alright. Then we can combine these. Now, over time, this will change because we get access to different recipes that have better outputs. So we just gotta keep that in mind. Oh, I didn't want to delete, I wanted to copy. Oh, right, it is Sunday. I have forgotten. Because it was so mostly inconsequential this particular week. But yeah, Friday Factorio facts are a thing that exist. And there was one that came through on Friday. It's all wonderful. Everything that was presented is fine and great, and I have no issues at all with it. There's actually no issues. I have no notes. There's nothing. There's nothing. So what is it? Super force building is what it is. Super forced building. It is so super. Superdy duperdy. Get all my windows sorted out again over there. Alright. Super forced building will force landfill when trying to place things on water. It will force landfill tiles to like become part of your blueprint on that space. It will do the same thing with the space platform. It will put platform tiles underneath whatever you have that you've wanted to copy paste or blueprint place. It will also deconstruct anything that you have currently constructed in a spot. This super forced build. And their example was placing down a rail blueprint over a array of solar panels. And they also have added the ability to force place the like walls and things over existing things. Like, okay, great. And among this, they now have it so that when you use this over belts, it will automatically place underground belts. So if you place something that you've copy pasted on top of belts, if it can put underground belts through it, it will. So you don't have to manually place your underground belts. And this will be great for, a prime example that they put in here. A couple prime examples. One is running pipes through, but also putting in a new section of like multiple belts in a line that have to cross another section of belts in the line. Oh, and placing beacons. You can put the beacon down and it will automatically put the underground belts and replace the straight belts. Yeah, it's great. They're also adding landfill deconstruction. You can mine your landfill tiles. And you can force build the pumps, the offshore pumps over landfill tiles and to pick up the landfill tiles. Like, that's actually great. As far as I'm aware, none of this is actually paid DLC content, and it is coming to the game as part of the free content. There's nothing in here that I noticed that specifically said that forced building is locked to the DLC. So it should be part of the patch. Because every update they've made, if the feature has been paid, they have specifically said that it is part of the paid DLC. They did not so state on this one, as far as I am aware, from what I have been reading on the update. So, good. Good. It's good. That is fine. Would be nice to have it, you know, as soon as possible, but still, why is it that the best parts of what they've been announcing that are going to come at the same time as the DLC are only the free things and not the actual paid things? I don't know. So what is part of the paid stuff for the DLC? So clearly all the space stuff, the space platforms, the other planets, that's the DLC. But also one of the paid features is the above ground rails is part of the paid DLC, and the quality system is part of the paid DLC. And that's it. So the other rail changes, the parts where we're getting the updates to like the S curves, being able to be more compact, those changes are going to be free, as well as this force build system is going to be free. And I think some other updates to it. The tech tree changes are going to be part of the free content, as far as I'm aware, where they're putting in all the milestone crap. That's one of those things that I do not want to see happen. That I don't want in my save. I do hope that it is a option, that it is optional on saves, or like a start up setting or something like that. I really don't want that to exist in any game that I play of Factorio. Like, I don't want it. I want it off. Always. Never shall I ever enjoy playing with restrictions like that force you to play in a very specific way every single time. Boogers Aramid at wafers. I think this one's Aramid to join with that. What am I missing? Oh, it's the quartz ore. I made it locally and I didn't import it. And I put a spot for it, so this one doesn't need to exist. Aramid. Aramid. Waiting for Aramid. And last but not least, I do need to provide an amount of startup fluid. I need fluids. I need hydrogen chloride. All right, I need hydrogen chloride, which, yeah, hydrogen chloride needs like lamps. Or it needs guts. Am I carrying around a ton of lamps? I am carrying around a bunch of lamps. How about guts? Do I just happen to be carrying around a whole bunch of guts? I'm carrying around a whole bunch of meat, but not guts. Wonderful. Well, I have my answer. Thank you so much for following on Twitch. Okay. Blueprints. Blueprints. Give me my saline. Give me one of these. Give me some of that stuff. Give me a chemical plant. Yes, I have begun also streaming on Twitch. Again. I have been streaming the entire time on YouTube. Just so as we're all aware. Just been on YouTube. I haven't really ever stopped streaming. For those who only had watched on Twitch previously. I did just swap to YouTube, primarily due to the tech on YouTube just being better. And, you know, revenue split being better. All that stuff. It is a better platform as a streamer to stream. From the streamer's perspective. Twitch is, of course, better from the community and viewer perspective, although I do think that YouTube has its own benefit for viewers in the DVR of the video player. Not just so that you can go back to any point in the stream on YouTube. Like if you come in later, you can just go to the beginning of the video, watch at ×2 speed, and catch up, and it's actively catching up at all times. Twitch doesn't do that. I wish Twitch did do that. I really do wish that was available on Twitch as a thing that you can do, because even though you can watch an in-progress stream on Twitch, it does not dynamically update to like the current like amount streamed that has been streamed while you were watching it. So you have to like constantly refresh the page. Like if you're getting closer, because it'll only go up to the point in which you access the video. And if it took you, I don't know, half an hour to get to the most recent point, well then you have to refresh the page to then watch that half hour at ×2 speed, and then 15 minutes and 7.5 minutes, etc., etc. It's not a pleasant viewing experience to try to catch up to a active live stream on Twitch. And that is a thing that YouTube does so very much better. Anyway, this is temporary because I just need to fill up only enough of the fluid for the system to move. And to move consistently. Oh yeah, there's this too. Underflow. That should help prevent things from being bad. Alright. Okay, now, the problem with this setup is that there is still potential for this to die. There is still potential for it to die. The reason is that, yeah, you see, you're taking this hydrogen chloride and you're converting it to a different fluid twice. And that is a problem. If you are always providing fresh fluid in through a valve, the total volume of the fluid in these pipes, you've got this pipe leading into this section and these pipes leading into this section. This total volume, in order to not have issues, needs to be less than 20% of the value of the storage containers that you have of the fluid that's looping. It needs to be less than 20% for its total volume to not have issues. So, I'm just going to pray that that is the case here. I could probably do the math, but I don't feel like doing the math. I think this is 100K that it's storing. So all the fluid in here and all the fluid in here needs to be less than 20K. I don't think that's actually the case. But we are going to be hard stopped on the amounts in here at some point or other. And what will happen is that the tank will fill and cap, and then all this will stop because it will have too much output, and this will also have all of its input, but all of the pipes will be like capped. It'll just stop working because everything is capped on its fluids. Whoops. Regardless, though, this should start moving as soon as we do get a delivery of Aramid, which I am not sure why it's not moving right now. Aramid's nearby. Aha. Molly. Molly? Tufra? Tufra. Tufra. I am lacking potatoes. I'll have to solve that at some point. I'm not going to do it now. I will just consider this done, and we will move on. Because we have a lot of work to do. Lot of work to do. Alright, next, I am going to be putting the hydrogen peroxide onto the train network from etching solution. And I will need to scale. I will need to scale a bit, because that needs 4, and there's only 3 of these here. So I'll need more of this. And just another one of these, I think. Or maybe not even. Yeah, not even. Just add another tar processing unit or 2 or 3. And I should be good. That being said, my robots are on their way to deliver me things. They're wanting to deliver me a few items. Just a few. Once we do that, though, acetic acid is next on the agenda. This one is a very simple factory. I should have all of the buildings. Really? Alright, I'll need to get Moondrop. Good. I have a box full of Moondrops. So that will be what I go and what I grab. Then it's the ethylene glycol, which is a build. This is definitely a build, but not one I can't really get through. It's pretty simple, really. I've got blueprint for pure sand to copy. Then the pulp tube, which is the big thing. The big thing. Biggest of big. Really should consider a separate methanol, though, at some point. And note that the heavy end will just get tacked on to the top of the pulp 2. I'm not going to put pulp 2 on the network because it's just only ever going to get used for heavy end of silicon. And I don't have much reason to do this processing for my primary production of the antimony oxide yet. I'll have a look at it at the chain when I get productivity modules, but I still think it's not going to be worth it, particularly because of the silver cost of the ethylene glycol. It's the silver cost on the ethylene glycol that kills this whole system at this point in the game, because we just don't have silver production. It's just not reasonable until after we get circuits and after we get productivity, and even then the productivity is not going to solve the silver issues completely. You know, it isn't until the next tech level where we will have genuine silver solutions. All right, I should have been restocked, so I'm off. I'm off kilter. Where's the thing? Hello? Thingy-ma-doo-hickey up here. I'll change this to DH2O2. This will be supply H2O2. That's hydrogen peroxide. Oh yeah, I did look up one of the substances we're going to be making very soon. The Bakelite. One, so that I could actually get the pronunciation correct one of these days, because I've just been calling it Bakelite. No, it's Bakelite. I was sort of close. Just it's bay and not ba. So Bakelite, is a bit of a long chemical name. And we like long chemical names around here. Bakelite is polyoxybenzyl methylene glycol anhydride. Polyoxybenzyl methylene glycol anhydride. That is one word. And that is why it's just called Bakelite. I'm going to tack on a couple of these. This just gets voided anyway, so I'll just void it here. Glorious. And then this guy... I don't need another one of you, because you do, like, 1852. Oh, you do 10. For 30. I was doing 20, so that's like 7 something? Wow. Alright, then I should probably add another one of these. Alright, that will be that. This... go that way. Overflow, of course. Want to make sure I always get the etching solution. And this just helps save time because I've already built the thing in the first place, so may as well use it. Oh boy, fluid. Peroxide. Next, acetic. I need to grab my modules for Moondrop. Acetic will live here. Figured I was almost out of fuel in my personal train. I am now out of coffee. Great. Fantastic. Give me all of it. I will take all 800 stacks of Moondrop. I need infinity Moondrop. Thanks. That being said, I may actually stop using so much Moondrop once I have productivity modules, because, well, it's going to be a bit easier to get CO2 out of biomass when both steps are productive. To do the CO2 from biomass and to do the biomass from anything that makes biomass. Although this still has utility in that it is place it one step, just place the building and you have the thing. It does still maintain that utility, but it's not probably going to be the best way once I do get productivity, especially once I get the majestic, mythical god modules. Once those happen, oh boy, yeah, it'll be no contest. So I do need a fuel here, or a fluid here. I need the syngas. I also need copper and zinc. And I am providing a fluid. I'm providing 2 fluids. I have decided that I will, in fact, also provide methanol here. At least for now. Methanol, I'm not sure if I'm going to get it through this method through the end of the game. The copper and zinc cost will improve with productivity, but I'm not sure if this is the way I will do it until the end of time. So we'll see. But definitely the syngas will massively improve along with the tar from wood processing being upgraded. That will help immensely. I will need to go through at some point and, you know, do a bit of improvement / entity reduction. We will need entity reduction stuff going on very shortly, because I am actually running the game below 1x at this point. It is supposed to be running at like 10 or 20. I forget exactly what I have it set to at the moment. It was at 20. But yeah, now it's less than 1. Isn't that beautiful? That's just great. Oh, I need chromium. Right. One more. Come here, chromium. Oh, you didn't place the things. There you go. Aye. One. Ha, ha, ha. 2, 3, 4. That's enough. Overflow. Now we just need a delivery of syngas, and I think that's just a matter of not having enough train. Really? Always one tile. Always one tile off. Alright, enjoy all of that. Bring in CO2. Bring in the methanol. And send out the acetic. Okay. That is done. Supply depot, full cargo, circuit condition, fluid count of acetic acid should be greater than 6 or 5,000, 6,000. Supply depot, full cargo, circuit condition. I'm making like 250 spare up to, so that's plenty for a full cargo wagon every 2 minutes. Yeah, it's 250 spare, as long as I've got the syngas. Speaking of which, where the hell are my trains? I need another train. I need another train for syngas. Oh boy. 2 aren't enough to move around the syngas. Or maybe they are, and it's just going to take a little while to fill up buffers to meet the demand again. Either way, that is the acetic, and it's methanol. Acetic acid. Depot acetic acid. And methanol. Okay. Acetic acid and methanol, which means that in any other factory that needs methanol, I can remove it, like from here, and save on factories by just importing methanol going forward. Trying to think if there's any other factories that need methanol. Probably not at this point, but we'll see. I don't think so. Not in the Circuit 2 pathways. Now, I should mention, after Circuit 2s, I'll be detouring into the modules. I mean, duh, obvious. Modules are the most important thing in the whole of existence. So we have to get modules as soon as we get into Circuit 2s. And that means soot into gold as well. But that's... I'm not even putting any thought behind that because it is so easy to do. Kickalk into biomass, into flue gas, into ash, into soot, into gold. That's not the problem. That's not any problem at all. So I'm thinking beyond having modules. Beyond having modules and beyond having Circuit 2s, we need to think of getting into SAM neuroprocessors as well as into nuclear samples. That's the other thing. Nuclear samples. So basically the remaining items that I should have going into chemical science. So that I can get chemical science. That would be great. This needs industrial solvent. Oh god. Okay. Fortunately, it's free. So, that's fine. Diborane. And there we go. Just add plutonium-238, which we're going to get out of plutonium oxide. This is going to require ethanol, which we've made before, and hydrogen peroxide. A lot of it. Oh yes, and antimony phosphate, which fortunately is only antimony oxide and not like an entire chain of getting into it. That's also a freaking hell of a lot of phosphoric acid, so I need to reconsider point 1 here. Chem science. Point 1. Maybe less. Yeah, that's 0.008. Yeah, that's better. So basically, by the time we do this, because SAM needs organic acid anhydride, by the time we get through all this, now, yeah, I know that neuroprocessors are not directly needed for this, but they're a good thing to do at this point because they do actually just straight up unlock some Mark II stuff that we get access to at this tech level with Pi Alien Life stuff. So it does help with unlocking stuff. It's just not directly used in the chem science at this moment in time. So yeah, by the time we get the nuclear samples and the SAM, once we have circuit 2s, well, then we've got chem science. Ta-da! Really, it's just the SAM and the chem science, but the SAM needs rayon, and that is our first required rayon sample, rayon production, and that also would mean that I can upgrade my batteries, quote unquote, upgrade my batteries for rayon, with rayon. I can get more batteries out of rayon. But this SAM is hell incarnate. I will need to absolutely break down a lot of this into separate factories. SAM is self-assembly monolayer material. This is absolutely going to be a massive pain in the ass, and it's also going to be a required item for every single bit of Mark II infrastructure in the face of existence. At least the extreme vast majority of it. Will need at least 1 unit of SAM. It is the limiting thing in Mark II for Mark II infrastructure. Getting enough SAM for Mark II infrastructure is absolutely one of the biggest pain points of Mark II, if not the biggest pain point of Mark II infrastructure. Neuroprocessors, the easiest of the stuff for the Mark II infrastructure. So, yeah, this is a lot of stuff from circuit 1s getting reused here, along with PCB2s, some cermet, and optical fiber, and this one new thing. There's only one new thing in here, and that's Nexlet Matrix. So just make Nexlet Matrix, which needs epoxy. So make epoxy, Nexlet Matrix, and then you have neuroprocessors. And you can go in and start working on SAM, of which there's stuff in here that's not new, and stuff here that is, aka Novins are new. Organic acid anhydride is new. Parylene is new. These special alloys are new, and PTCDA is also new. Why, hello there. Parylene tetracarboxylic dianhydride. Parylene tetracarboxylic dianhydride. Or PTCDA. Alright, I think I've been restocked at this point, so we can move on to our ethylene glycol. That is the next build. Ethylene glycol is next. And I'm now at that point where I think I'm going to have to maybe build some rail, unless I do it right down here. Why, hello, Kitty. Kitty's repositioning behind me. We are on our way. So this build, now it may look like it's quite a few steps, but it's not actually. I will need to bring in some wood anyway for this build, so I'm not worried about the sodium hydroxide being a byproduct here. Yeah, this is all fine. This is actually pretty simple. It's just, it's a lot of silver plates. Oh, 0.2. Yeah, that's a lot of silver for this point in the game. That's a lot of infrastructure to get that much silver. I would not be surprised to be limited by ethylene glycol on the production of circuit 2s, even at 0.1. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if I didn't even get the 0.1 because of silver being limiting in the, like, ultimately. It's like, why? Why? Just why? This has always been a big pain point for me. This use of silver in particular has always been a big pain point. Always, like the whole time, every single time I've played the Pie Suite, I've always hated this silver in this specific recipe. Until I have infinite silver, which silver is way too limiting at this point in the game. I think that's the bigger issue here is actually it's really, really, really hard to get any amounts of silver. And you're requiring amounts of silver at this point. So, like, it's not fun, is the point that I'm making. This situation with the silver, it's not actually fun. So, we need a fluid and 4 solids. Like, even doubling the output of the silver from lead dust won't even make a dent. It would help, but it's like still going to be really limiting, even if it was doubled. Like, that's how bad it is. Don't just take my word for it. Here's silver. Here is silver. I'm showing you this. These are the numbers for silver. Silver is 52.5 lead ore for 1. Through lead dust. This is not okay. This has never been okay. It is unacceptable, and it has always been. Anyway, things. Glycol. We need... How am I going to break this down? I need the pure sand, which... Oh, hey, wouldn't you know? We got a pure sand right here. We got a pure sand right there. So I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna... Well, I was gonna flip you, but oh well. Off. Merle? Hello. We have Cat. Here be Cat. Hello, Ollie. Ollie, what you doing? It's my boy. Yeah, it's my boy. Yeah, it's a big Ollie. It's the Ollie, Mr. Cat. Yes, it's Mr. Cat. What's he up to? What's he up to? Does he want pets? He wants his attention. He wants attention. He wants lovinge. Yes, he wants lovinge. He wants lovinge. Mr. Ollie-Cat. Yes, oh, the baby. What you doing? What are you doing? Yes, Mr. Cat getting settled. Yes, yes, yes. You want the pets and the wubbins. Yeah. Nuzzles. Nuzzles, hey. My hand. I need my hand. I do need to use my hand on the keyboard. Yes, yes, I know. I know. I know, Mr. Cat. I know, I know. I know you want your wubs. You want your wubbins. Come on. Yeah, oh, I know. I know. You want attention. You want your attention. You want to feel good. He's like extremely super attached to me, by the way. If you couldn't tell, he's a bit attached to me. Like I can't go anywhere in this house without having him following me around all the time. The only time he doesn't is if he's sleeping. If he's not sleeping, even if he is sleeping, sometimes he'll just get up and start following me. No matter where I go, he's there, following me around. Dolly will follow too, but not as much. She's not. She's more independent. He's very clingy. Oh boy. Speaking of which, that is my alarm indicating that I am in fact halfway through today's stream. I am going to place this saline down, build it, and then go on the break, because that way I will have all of that cleared up for this build. That will be donezo. And going on. All right. When I come back from the break, we are going to be working on ramping up this ethylene glycol, getting into the antimony pulp 2 for the heavy N dope silicon. Heavy N or heavy P? Heavy P dope silicon. Or no, heavy N. Actually, heavy N, yes. So getting into heavy N through antimony pulp 2. Then we'll do light, and we'll do light. The both of the lights. The both of the lights, yes. The both of the lights. Before moving on to the other parts of getting into C2s. I shall be back shortly. And I have returned. Welcome back. Cat hath left. So we will get rid of that for now. Alright, we are working on ethylene glycol. Let's get this finished. So we can actually get into our doped silicon. Alright, you I'll do first. Grab all that. Grab this. I need you for oxygen, specifically. Get rid of that. I need you. I need to dump the sodium hydroxide. Stackers. Stackers. Come on. Place the thing. Place the thing. Going down. This is making what now? Just the chlorine. I just need the chlorine. And nothing else. Give me voiding. 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 Wood stacks, come on down. Okay, next. Basic oxygen furnace. Which, yeah, sure, we'll do this, yes. Why the heck not? Put that there, put this over yonder, put this over there. Needed oxygen. Bring in the seaweed! We shall seaweed. So we are making slaked lime through a seaweed recipe that is unlocked through the turret upgrades. So for seaweed specifically, in the turret upgrades, I chose to add a recipe into the game that adds in this slaked lime from seaweed. It also adds in a fine carbon dust recipe early, an earlier fine carbon dust, which in the current balance does absolutely nothing to help you, but you do get calcium carbide from the slaked lime and fine carbon dust, which gives you calcium carbide from seaweed and saves a bit on the coke expense for getting into acetylene, since calcium carbide only used to make acetylene. So it is an acetylene savings. Save on that acetylene. I'm gonna void you. You go there. I apparently need 2 of you. Or 2 of Yui. We need methane. saw methane right there. Why am I getting this out of iron oxide instead of out of Yotoi? Why get ethylene out of this instead of out of the Yotoi? Well, it's because the ratio is awful of Yotoi aloe fruit into ethylene. It is actually really bad. Really, really, really bad. So I'm not doing it. I'm not even entertaining the prospect of it. It is not pleasant. Hello again. Hello again, Mr. Cat. Mr. Cat. It's Ollie. It's the Ollie Cat. It's the Ollie Cat. He's joined me again. I did find the Dolly Cat. Dolly Cat is under my bed in her usual spot. Oh, and there he goes. He's in the window. He left. He's left me. Who knows? So Dolly Cat's under my bed, as is her usual comfy location. Oops. Orini. It's not the line to draw. This is the line to draw. Good. Good. Just add silver. Which, yes, I have silver. I have a big buffer of silver, but I will run out of that buffer. All right, Mr. Cat, are you gonna sit there? You're gonna sit there, right on the edge of the table, or are you gonna go on the back of my chair? You're gonna go on my chair? Gonna be comfy on my chair? You're gonna sit here. Sit here. Just sit and stare at me. Because that's where he sat earlier today. That's where he sat. He sat facing me, and he sat and he stared at me for over half an hour, wondering what the hell I was doing, not feeding him because of the time change. It's like, why are you not feeding me? Well, it's because it's not time yet, actually. But it is time. But he knows it's time, and it's not time. Not yet. Now we're at the time it should be. But you'll be happy in spring when you'll get fed an hour early. You just have to be unhappy now when you get fed an hour late. Alright. Oh, I don't have any thingies. I don't have any scrubbers. I don't have scrubber scrubbing. Scrubber. We need scrubbers. We need scrubbers. Scrubbing. I also need to get rid of this and replace it with a fluid input. Hi. Hello. You're sitting in your grooming now, behind my head. Now he's behind my head and grooming, making the chair move. Oh boy. So technologies, we're not actually done with all of the Pi 1, or excuse me, the Pi 2 technologies at this point, but we've gotten through everything that's of value to us in the current progression. Though we are getting to the point relatively soon where it does start to matter a bit more. While I've unlocked all the things that I need to get into chem science, there's still technologies that unlock Mark II infrastructure that are available that we could do. Right, and then there's another detour that I haven't even really been thinking about that detours away from chem science even more, which would be setting up all of the parts for getting into diesel trains. That's going to need the next mechanical parts. Or at least stuff for the next mechanical parts, which I'm pretty sure I don't need mechanical part 2s. Yeah, I don't need mechanical part 2s for chem science, but I will need mechanical part 2s for the following, for following science. Even if I don't need it for anything else, I do need them. And I'll need the pieces of mechanical parts for stuff. So I do have scrubbers. Okay. There are scrubbers that are scrubbing. Good. Excellent. You are going to store a full box of these. Thanks. I'm also going to grab a bunch of those. All of them, actually. Because I may need them. I'm going to need to scale a few things that may need those. AKA, I'm gonna be at some point working on the augs again and scaling my augs. We need infinite augs. Infinite augs. And I need to feed them aug food. Especially since I believe I took the upgrade for the double the food. I believe I took the upgrade for the food. Food. Yes, food. Double the food by adding wood. Is great-ish. Is great. It's great because that's also productive and I can, you know, get my gains based off of the double the recipe with the food. Glorious food. Food. Food is good. Food. Speed will also be good on anything that needs native flora or other items that are free. Zero input stuff. So speed is more useful on the zero input stuff, like these buildings. I believe I'll be able to make level 2 modules right at the start, so level 2 speed modules will give 40% speed. 40% speed? I'm pretty sure it's 40. Speed, glorious speed. Speed module 2. Yeah, that is 40. Yeah, 40% speed. 20% more energy, but 40% speed is nice. Is very, very nice. Unfortunately, I won't be able to progress into pure modules until I get module effect combining, which is going to be at advanced electronics, which at that point, you unlock level 3 circuits, and if you've gotten level 3 circuits, well, wouldn't you know it, then you can make all of the modules. All of them. But we have to go through a couple of tech levels to get there. That's at Pi 3, the one after Chem Science. Which Pi 3 is going to be a bit of a pain, I think, as always. Right, have you given me things? N amount of things. Yes, you have, so I can actually just go at this point, leave my buds behind. We can plonk that down. Actually, we can do most of this remotely. Water that guy and this stuff. And the pure sand in. And that is that, I think. Yes, that should be that. So I will need to go over here for the thingies, I think. Maybe, unless I just do it this way. Manually. Manual all the things. Whatever. That shall be that. But I'll go down here now. Ugh. I'm feeling the slowness now. Yeah, under 50. I'm feeling it. I am feeling it. It is chugging. Game be chugging. I'll note that OBS, just the existence of my streaming software being open, reduces my performance in the game by a fair bit. I do get better performance when I do not have any streaming software open. You don't have to be streaming it. It just has to be open, and it will reduce the performance of the game. Why? Hell if I know. Like, it's not even really doing anything. It has the preview up, but that's video, not CPU. So it's like, what the hell is it doing on the CPU side of things to reduce the performance by like 10 frames? It's considerable, actually, how much the performance goes down just by having this program open. In this case, it's OBS, but it did the same thing with Streamlabs OBS. And it does the same thing, I think, with XSplit as well. But I haven't touched XSplit in a while. Despite having a freaking lifetime subscription to it, it's just not. I just don't think it's a good program. Like the program is just not good. It's like I paid for it. I paid for this thing that's just actually not a good thing. You know, it would help if it actually worked. Like full stop, it would just help if it worked. And not have audio cracking at all times. I need to name these. Supply ethylene glycol. Depot ethylene glycol. Depot full cargo. Circuit condition. Fluid count. Oh, that's the wrong thing. There you go. Okay. Define. All right. We are about to start getting into the dope silicons and actually doing the goals that I have for the day. Actually completing my goals. This is the biggest factory of Circuit 2s, of what remains of Circuit 2s, the biggest single factory. So I'm just going back to the mall. I don't really know why I'm going back to the mall. I don't really need to go back to the mall. I just need to be at a place where I can build this factory. But I think I'll have to build rail no matter what. Think we're gonna have to build more or place more of my rail grid now. Otherwise it would be a bit too far out of the way. So I'm actually gonna go here and I'm gonna build in here. I'm gonna place that. And I will build here in this square. And that will be the antimony into heavy N doped silicon. So let's keep in mind that we not only need all of these inputs, I also need these 3 extras. So I will need rare earth oxides, silicon wafers, and etching solution, as well as the antimony, the coke, the lead, chromium, fish oil, acetic acid, hydrogen peroxide, methanol, and ethylene glycol. All these wonderful fluids that we spent a lot of time making today in separate factories. But once we're through this, the other 2 are super easy. Followed by Starmet, which is also fairly easy for the exception that I do need more Tufra for it to move. And then most of the other stuff is just like place the factories. It's just build the things and we're good. It's actually just pretty formulaic from there. Very, very quick and simple. Now, can I get through that many factories within like an hour? No, not gonna happen. Even if I get the extra hour today, which it looks like at this point we're not. So yeah, I think next time will be the time that we get Circuit 2s and we can get working on the modules. We can do module stuff. Start the module stuff anyway, because you know we got to get through some module techs and we have to make module items to get module techs, and we need to make module like labs and things. Then the productivity shenaniganery can begin. And ooh boy, I've seen plenty of places where productivity shenanigans will be amazing. Specifically when it comes to hot air and my current hot air processing. Ooh boy, that's gonna be fun. We're gonna have infinite stone bricks out of the hot air area, because that's gonna be productive and give me more bricks out than I put in. I'll have to void bricks because I'll have too many bricks in that system. Okay, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fluids, 6 fluids in this system. Oh boy. Ta-da! 6 fluids! And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 solids. Oh boy, I don't have enough of those. there's our 6 of those. Good. Why you no power? Power? Hello? Why you no power? Oh, because one thing was missing. Alright. I still have yet to do the next lit power poles. I have still not made my next lit power poles. One of these days I'll make my next lit power poles. That day was clearly not today. Okay. Do I have all of the infrastructure that I need? Yes. For this part anyway. We're going to start from the top, because that's where the closest rail line is. And I'm going to look here and see that the first thing to do would be to build the limestone part of this. So we may as well go to the into the zinc acetate and the lime first before doing the processing of the ore. There's limestone. It'll be used to make lime. It will need coke added. All the way down here. Oh boy. Heavy and dope silicon. That'll take some time to get here. My coke production isn't sufficient at the moment. I will need to get that scaled. Eventually. Eventually I will scale that, but for now it's fine. Next, we'll do the zinc acetate, or lead acetate, excuse me, not zinc. Lead. So we need the acetic acid and hydrogen peroxide. Acetic is on the left. Peroxide is on the right. And they're on their way already. Good. I also need lead. Lead. Come on up. All right. That, as they say, is that. Next is Dow Froth. Another 2 fluids required for this. We need methanol and ethylene glycol. And chromium. Ethylene glycol. And ethanol. And chromium. Alrighty then. That takes care of the most of the outside inputs. All the stuff we're making locally anyway. Glorious. Beautiful. And in fact, wonderful stuffs. Okay, now it is the standard process of which I can copy paste from here the first sets of steps for this through a UA? Through a UA. But it's... yeah, it's fine. It's fine this way. Alright, antimony ore. Which, by the way, we just got the update push live for the stacking for Pyanodons mod. Which will allow stacking for the ore and the missing intermediates. We previously we didn't have stacking for the ores, despite the grade 1, 2, 3, and 4 having stacking. Now the rest of the intermediates have it. Antimony. The anti-money. You will be our fish oil. And you are etching. Alright, 2 extra steps get added onto this. Here. And here. It needs a thingy. Dow froth up. Huh? Oh. Really? Alright then. Okay, I need to... get voiding going here. It says I need 2 of these, actually. And 2 of the ball mills. Wait, ball mills. No, 2 of the screeners. And 2 of the, oh yeah, ball mills down. Huh? Oh, I'm missing steps here. There's multiple steps I'm missing here. Those go down there. So I do need 2 of this. It's just, yeah. The next step is this from grade 4. Yeah, grade 4 plus lime. Okay, so this is where the lime comes in. This is where the lime enters. I will need a voiding setup. Still waiting on Coke. There it is. Alright, bing bong boom bing pow. Oh, you return grade 4. You would. You would make this the what? Oh. This is the voiding stuff. This is the grade 4 stuff. And I have to make this even more complex by having input priority right on there. Ta-da! We did it. This takes in antimony dust and fish oil. means that we're pretty much done. We need the lead acetate. That is that, huh? At least that shall be that. Yes. Yes. Voiding. That is pulp 2. All that goes into this guy. Da 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 bum ba dum bum. Down. Over. You. There. You. There. Power. To the everything. Wafers and rare earth oxides. Cool. That's that. Output the thing. I know it's heavily endo, but whatever. Da-da! That is that. We are done with that silicon. Da-da-da! Well, that is the most complex of what remains of the builds for Circuit 2s. Believe it or not, that is the easiest. Or the hardest, excuse me. That is the most difficult of what has remained for Circuit 2. So now everything else is pretty easy. It's just the time to build the factories. Speaking of which, I do, in fact, need to restock. So I need to get back over here. I need to restock because I need more, well, maybe not loaders, but I do need more supplier and requester train stops. I guess not requesters? Huh. I thought I needed to go. I do need those tanks, though. I do need to request more than 5 at a time of those tanks. That would be great. Yeah. Okay, next factories. are going here. Are going here. And here. I'll do the ones across as well on this square. And I guess I can do this one as well. But not this. So I'll need to build this rail, and that's the next 6 factories. We have a light N and a light P. These are super easy for our other remaining dope silicon factories. Then we have Cermet, Nisei, silicon carbide, Bakelite, phenolic boards, PCB2s, ferrite, ferrochrome, MOSFETs, toroidal inductors, electrolytic capacitors, transistors, medium power resistors, blah, and microchips and diodes before we get to circuit 2. So how many thingies? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 total factories. Well, there's 6. There's 6. Okay. I could say that that's right there is 12. And that would be enough, but I'm also going to go over here. I'm actually going to do this. I'm just going to like pre-place every one of these, although I know that that one's not going to happen. Yeah, this one isn't going to happen. That's fine. Bots are botting, bringing me things. I think that's enough factories. But we shall see. Some of them will need big stations. Oh, there's a rare earth node here, so that is a rare earth factory. That is going to provide me rare earth ores. Because it is one of very few that I have in my entire base for rare earth nodes. Once I have God modules in a very long time, that's when I will consider moving away from the mining of the nodes. Because by that point, I'll be able to have fast, cheap, productive production. I can't do that, can I? I don't think that there's a... I'm pretty sure there's not. Oh, there is. Ooh. Aha. Okay, we don't have to. We don't have to fad-eye. We won't have to fad-eye. We won't have to fad-eye in this playthrough. That's yeah. We won't need to fad-eye. Once we get organ printing, period, I don't think we'll have to fad-eye ever again. The reason for that is, of course, because everything is productive. Every single process is productive. The only things that we can't do are the creature buildings themselves. Only creature buildings don't have productivity available. So the normal way of getting the carapaces is not going to be productive, although the like ingredients can be productive. The actual making of the stuff is not. Bioprinting is, as well as the ingredients for the bioprinting. These are all productive processes. So yeah, and by that point, for stage 2, we'll get Mark 2s. I think we'll have Mark 2s, maybe. Yeah. That's gonna be good. That's gonna be good. Gonna be good. For now, though, let's get existent modules. Like, we need to have them, period. Alright. So I don't know if anyone's noticed on the Twitch side, but I have updated a bit the emotes on the Twitch side. When I came back, I saw, oh hey, I don't have a couple of a few emotes that I actually have on YouTube side of things, and there's some stuff I did differently between Twitch and YouTube inherently that I don't think I really want to change exactly. But yeah, because there's some things like the high-tech construction bot and the high-tech logistics bots that are emotes on Twitch that you can unlock somehow. I forget which thing. I think it's a tier 3 sub thing for those or something along those lines. I don't know, it's weird. Twitch has emotes that you can unlock through bits, as well as emotes that you can unlock for the sub-level. No, I think the tier 3 is like the diamond, and tier 2 is salt. But the bots are like bit rewards. Something along those lines. And I think Faugi is also like an unlock. But I was missing brains and my logo, as well as the eye, the stare. So I have all those. I have those brought in, but I used a different brain icon. So we have emotes for brains, for our great big brains. And on Twitch, I used just a different icon. They're from the same set of MIPs from the Pi Suite. I just happened to choose one that that looked a bit more like what you think of when you think of brain, image of brain. And I named this emote Smirt. The brain emote on Twitch is Smirt. Otaku's 6 Smirt. SMRT. Yes, very, very purposefully spelled. SMRT. It's Smirt. Because we're so smirt around here. We are smirt. Destroy all trees. They must all die because they are in my way. Trees are in my way. Get the hell out. Speaking of which, is all this unbroken? Yes. Good. Oh, but we're missing power. There. Ta-da. Build the rails. Build the stations. And then build the factories. We'll do these 2 stations here, and one will be the light N, the other will be the light P, and we'll be good to go from there to the other factories, because we will have done what I wanted to do as my goal for the day today, which is the doped silicons, and we'll have finished the doped silicons. Wow. We rarely ever actually finish something. But we'll be actually finished with the dope silicons. Now, because we're not streaming the extra hour today, thus far, I will do my best to get as much done as possible towards Circuit 2s, but even if I did get the extra hour, we're not going to get the Circuit 2 factory done today, I'm pretty sure. I can practically guarantee that that will not be a thing that I will be able to get through, but I could get infinitely close to it. Not really, probably only about 5 of the 15, 16 factories that we need to do. Could be done in that hour, but we'll see. We'll see. I don't want to do them off screen. It's tempting though. It is very tempting because we're so close. We are so very close to getting to Circuit 2s. But even then, it's like Circuit 2s by themselves do nothing. I do need to do even more work before I can get the actual modules. Okay, let's do that, and let's get copy of you and a thing for you. Etching solution, phosphine, and wafers. This one's light N. Head on across. This one needs a bit bigger of a factory. That one was the easiest of the steps. This one is a little bit, ever so slightly more difficult. We will need a few extra ingredients here. Let's see, we will need to add the acetic acid. And we will also need wafers, borax, and zinc plates. Whoop. Put that back. Put that back. All right. You, and you. Wait, what? Autosave is auto-saving. Alright. Bring on things. Wafers. Whenever I get wafers. Infinity time from now. And that is that. At least I believe that that is that. If there are issues, I will fix them between streams. And that's all the doped silicons. Yay. We did it. Next. So, what are we doing after we beat Pi, huh? I wonder. Most likely, as I've said every time, most likely at this point, looking at Pi plus Omni, maybe we shall see. All right, we've got our 3 doped silicons. All 3 done separately. It's glorious and wonderful and magnificent stuffs. Especially now that we have all the things that went into making the freaking stupid antimony pulp 2. So that's the worst of circuit 2s now done. Now it's just a matter of finishing the remaining factories to get the circuit 2s. And, you know, having them be on and actually making things, that would be good too, but that is only secondary to getting the infrastructure placed for me right now. I just want the experience. I just want the things done. How do I not experience burnout? Well, I do occasionally experience burnout. It's just I don't play between streams. If I'm feeling burnt out, I just won't play between streams. It's as simple as that. In fact, I didn't really play at all between these 2 streams. Not that much anyway. And there's a difference between playing and letting the game run, so sometimes I will just let the game run and let things happen, even though I'm not actively playing it. So there are ways in which I deal with it. But yeah, I mean, what's the thing? That's the thing. High. 7,375.2 hours. 7,375.2, and over the last 2 weeks, 113-ish. It's been the amount of time that the game has been running. It is very different from saying the amount of time that I have played. Is just the amount of time that the game has run. Yeah, I didn't do most of the stuff that I did between streams until like this morning. Because I had a bit of extra time this morning. Since I sort of got up close to an hour early, or than I should have. Since, you know, clocks went back an hour. I'm out of those. That's fine. Okay. I'm gonna go back across and build over there. Sermit. Glorious Sermit. And we are in a good place where I can actually just not play between streams. Especially this time. Like, I don't even have to open the game between whenever we finish today and when we start next stream, because there's not really much that would even happen. Like, I don't really have to do anything at this point. I mean, yeah, there's some things I could scale. I could take the time and go do that. Like, I could go scale the Tufra as an example, but I don't feel like it, so I'm not gonna yet. I will at some point, just not now. I just don't feel like it. No fluids involved in getting into Sermit. Now, what we do have is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh boy. That's a few. Now, I could import ash directly, but more likely than not, I'll just get it from Kickalk. Because, you know, I like the idea of not a barely even 0.1 Kickalk. Getting spent here, even though it does have add a couple of buildings of infrastructure, so that's still 8. Come on, build that. Yes, there we go. That's Ollie. Ollie's sleepy. He's resting. He's resting. Right behind my head. Alright, really big station, but I guess it's requisitely large factory as well. I would say that this is probably second largest. Of what remains, or is the largest of what remains after what we just did today. I mean, of course, this is going to be a big train station, but it's not going to be a big factory. I think this Sermit's probably the next biggest factory of what's left of actual factory stuffs. But even then, it is very, very simple. That goes there. This time I'll do that, even though I usually have it as 1 and 1. Gib Kickalk. I'm not bothering to name the requester stations at this point in time. I will do that as soon as I end the stream today. I will go through and, as I was just saying, I will go through later and rename these. Because it takes me several minutes for each factory to go through and rename all the stations, I'd rather be building. I'd rather be building. I don't know about you, but I would rather be building. Tufra. And wood. Bricks. That will make a thing. Yes, I need these. 5 of these. Now, I know for a fact that I built at much larger scale in my previous playthrough, and yet, look at the time. And look at the time! Gee. I would say that this base is in a much better position than the vast majority of my bases at this point in time. But still. Gee. Goodness. I need the hydrogen. Yeah, me being burnt out is one of the reasons why I think I haven't done the next lit power poles yet. It's like I'm doing low-hanging fruit and that's it. Titanium and lard. Lard needs to be destacked. This is for the oleochemicals, and that's it. There'll be a spot where I have to do oleochems plus glycerol and have an extra separate glycerol. That's not quite this point, but we're starting to come up on that being relevant. Nextlit is next. This is where the hydrogen comes in. All of this will be replaced once I can get the real lubricant recipe that I plan on using. Oh, do I not have a... Bookers. Once I get the desulfurizators and the lube recipe from aromatics, I will have infinite lube. Infinite lube is a perfect amount of lube. Alright, I do need to restock, unfortunately. Because I do need these olefin plants. Oily, oily, oily fins. What am I getting? I need the boogers. I can't define it remotely like this. I have to like name it and then do it from there. So we'll do that later. But one of these is ceramic. It will meet up with this guy first. Then nickel. Oh, excuse me. I do need this both. Yeah, this will be a little weird. There. What I need here is the ash. I'm not even at the mall yet, and I'm done. Great. Well, there's Sermit. There's Sermit for you. I just need to restock, and we'll be done with it. Yeah, ba, 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 da, ba, ba. All right. Hello. Welcome to the stream on Twitch. We're actually reaching the end of the stream today. Within the next few minutes, I will be wrapping up my Sermit now. Next time will be this. What was I doing? So we were making this substance called Sermit. Over the course of the day today, we ended up making 3 different types of these doped silicons: the light P, the light N, and the heavy N doped silicons. And in that process, also got the pulp 2 for antimony through this whole process, as well as ethylene glycol through this process for the antimony pulp, as well as acetic acid and hydrogen peroxide, and the silicon wafers. So we did silicon wafers, hydrogen peroxide, acetic, ethylene glycol, pulp 2 for the heavy N, light N, and light P, doped silicons. Did all of those, and now we're wrapping up by moving on from those and going into Sermit. The goal is circuit 2s, or complex circuits. What does the base look like? That. The base is this. It's an okay size. It's okay. Is fine. Is a fine amount of size. Okay, let's head back here. This will be S Sermit, and this will be D Sermit. Yes, works like SeaBlock. You have to get, well, the idea eventually is that everything will be from water, but because this is still, it's still a beta, quote unquote, it's not balanced well enough to force everyone to always get everything from water. So ore patches do still spawn, as do the regular Pyandons nodes. So any node-based resources, as well as all of the ores, they still spawn, but they can only spawn on land, and, well, this is what you deal with the land. Like, you've got islands everywhere, and all the ore patches are much smaller than usual, so it's just very small patches of land, of ores, if you're going to mine. You don't have to mine everything. There are good, viable alternatives to get some of the stuff from water. It's just there's some things that are just not good and some things that are fine. Like, the copper is okay. You get your copper from meat and guts. Copper ore from meat and guts at this point in the game. Early on, it sucks at the beginning of the game. I did mine the copper early until I got the recipes here to get it from meat and guts. The iron you get from mushrooms, which don't use power. So you get the mushrooms, Fawagi mushrooms. They just eat spores. The building that makes the spores is no power, and you just spores plus a solid fuel. In this case, wood bricks makes iron ore, and you got your iron ore from nothing. But as I've mentioned, it's still technically in a beta state, and there are things that are not in a good state, or not in a good enough state to force everyone to always make it in that way, especially in the early part of the game. Did I properly? No, of course not. Okay, so one of these, this is the nickel ore and the ceramics. And it does not matter which is which, so ceramic and then nickel ore. Nickel ore is one of those things where I just mine it because getting it in the alternative method is not good for scale and performance. Like, this Pyandons is a overhaul where performance is king, and where you have to be extremely mindful of how many buildings you are placing and how many belts you are placing, because clearly before you get to circuit 2s, you're going to have issues with not being able to run the game even at ×1 speed. Just to get to this point, I did have the game set at ×20 speed, and it scaled down from there based off of how fast my computer could run the game. And now it's not even at 1 while streaming. So it's just because it's just the pure scale of it is not great already, and then you're making it even slower for it to be a SeaBlock-Style. That just, they don't mix on some of these. They don't go together. They don't go well together for some of this. Especially things like the nickel, things like the rare earth ore. It's like, no, I do not want to spend circuits to get rare earth ore. Like, excuse me, not when it has a node that you can get 2.5 per second of it, when the otherwise build is like so small, and then it's like 1 per second, or is so complex and it's just 1. It's like, yeah, I'd rather be doing this to get rare earth ore. Thanks. Anyway, that is the end of the stream. We have made it. We have gotten through what I needed to get through to get into Sermit. Eventually, these ores will arrive. And eventually, I'll get Tufra delivery for this to get existent amounts of Sermit. I will place the train down so that when so that when Cermet arrives, I will have it ready to go. I can define it. All right. So, yet again, over the course of the day today, we got into silicon wafers, hydrogen peroxide, acetic acid. We actually set up a dedicated methanol as well with the acetic acid. We got ethylene glycol. We got heavy N, light N, and light P doped silicons. And we've made Cermet as well. So lots of progress. What remains to get into Circuit 2 are basically Ni-Si, silicon carbide, bakelite, phenolic boards, PCB2s, ferrite, ferrochrome, MOSFETs, toroidal inductors, electrolytic capacitors, transistors, medium power resistors, microchips, and diodes. Once we've made all of those factories, then we can combine all of those items and get Circuit 2s. And then we can move on into modules. Then we can make modules, finally, and get productivity on everything, because I have set that up in Bob's modules to give productivity to every recipe in the game. Right. With that, I would like to thank you all for watching. This has been a Talking Show, but if you've enjoyed today's stream, please be sure to do all of the social and engagement stuff down below. Depending on where you're watching, it'll be different. I'll be back on Tuesday, where ideally we'll get either infinitely close or we will get through to the end through all those remaining factories, because all those remaining factories are actually pretty small. I will see you all on the next one.